Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series, The Daily Dave, and it's so much more. It's so much more because this is the responses to our question of the month for April. And now I'm busy editing here. I'm having fun listening to all your responses that have come through my howtopodcast.ca website through SpeakPipe. Yeah, SpeakPipe. If you want to hear from your audience, give them a way to leave you a voice message. And that's what you did. You showed up, and you showed up so well. Again, I get nervous asking a question of the audience because, will anybody even answer? Is anybody out there? Please answer my question. Please. And you did. And that makes me happy. Every time I saw the email come in and, so-and-so's responded, yes, I did a little happy dance. So I've been dancing like crazy and very happy to hear that you have responded to the question of the month. And I found out kind of midway through April that I could probably have been even a little more clear, Dave, on the question. And so it's interesting. We have some really great responses. And the question basically was at the beginning of April, do you sign up for email newsletters? And if you do sign up, do you read them? Okay. Because I've signed up for many email newsletters, and I get a wall of affiliate links come to me saying, buy this course, buy this book, check this out, try this microphone, check this. And they're all affiliate links, meaning the person that's sending them to me, this email, which is just a list of links, is trying to make money from me clicking links. Now, I get it because we want to make money and support our podcast, and I want to support podcasters, so I get all that. But the idea that I'm just getting a wall of links, one other person emails me and tells me what they had for breakfast. Again, don't know the value I'm getting in that every week to know what you ate this morning. Congratulations on the grapefruit and the eggs. Well done. Awesome. Love it. But really, besides getting a sneak peek behind the scenes of your life, I don't get a lot of value from that, and I unsubscribe. So I'm not currently, at the time of recording, I'm not an active email reader and subscriber to newsletters, but I'm just Dave. So there's other people who love these things, and it's working. And the premise behind my question is, if you, as a listener of the How to Podcast series, wanted an email newsletter from me, the host, I'll gladly do it for you. But if I create this and no one even wants it, I could take that time and redistribute it somewhere else and not create a newsletter for no one, right? It's that whole tree falls in the forest. Will anybody hear? If Dave creates an email newsletter, will anybody listen or read it? So I wanted to just to kind of test the waters, and you showed up so well, and I want to share the responses. So I'll play the responses. I'll jump in here in between, and we will kind of go through this together. So you ready? Okay, I'm ready. All right. So in between, you'll hear this sound.
Welcome. You've got mail.
And then you'll know we're going to the next email and the next message. You ready? Okay, here we go.
Welcome. You've got mail.
So our first response here on the podcast today is from Scarlet Classic. Isn't that a great name? Scarlet Classic Advice Podcast. Scarlet is a new podcaster, a super nice person. Hi, Scarlet. And I know she's listening and she'll smile now. Say hi to all the dogs there. I think she has a pack of dogs in her house listening to the podcast along with Scarlet. Scarlet's response, she framed it around whether or not for me creating a newsletter, would it take away from me having time to spend one-on-one with listeners like Scarlet, which I love doing, by the way, and our meetups, all that. So she's framing her answer in that context. But here's Scarlet. Hey, Scarlet, you're up. Let's go.
So yeah, I listened to your episode today about the email or whatever, and I would vote no because I feel like you must be so busy. And I feel like maybe if you did the email, like the time has to be allocated to something. And I feel like one of the reasons why you're so different than everybody else out there podcasting is that you give this one-on-one, and that we do this, like what we're doing right now. We're talking to each other on our own time when we have time through the speak pipe. And I would hate, because that, I think, brings such significant value, and that's just, it's gold. It makes you stand out how you give that one-on-one time. And I would just hate for that to be, I guess, not as much time allocated to that if you're busy doing the emails. So that's just my 2 cents on it. If you do an email list, I will definitely read them, but I don't know. Yeah. So that's my two bits, my 2 cents. You asked, that's my answer. So yeah, I will talk to you Sunday, and have an awesome day, Dave. Enjoy your editing. I'm so touched that Jen is listening to my podcast, and I'm definitely going to give her a shout out now. And excited to meet you guys in September and all that fun and good stuff. So I have to get back to work now. Have an awesome day, Dave. Bye.
Thanks, Scarlet. Next we have Gary from the Healthy Vegan Podcast. He's all about vegan everything, and he wants you to live a healthy life. Another amazing person. Come through as a listener to the show. We get to talk to each other at our meetups on a regular basis. Gary's a great guy. Here's his thoughts around email newsletters. Gary?
Welcome. You've got mail.
Hi, Dave. This is Gary from Healthy Vegan Living Podcast. I'm responding to your email situation with issue number 230. I think it's 231. I'll take a look real quick. Yeah, 231. No, I am so fed up of email. I have thousands of emails. Most of them, of course, are vegan, which I'm slowly unsubscribing from them because I have no time. I think you have a good podcast. You give us good information. You research it well. You should spend your time doing that instead of stupid emails that people would, like you say, throw in a trash can. Another thing, too, is my wife's on hospice, so I won't be attending any of the meetings. It's nothing personal. I just have to take care of her first. And that's where I've been the past 2 times. I won't be attending for a while. I did find a temporary website. I couldn't get any of the other ones to work on Blogspot. I happen to be a Blogspot programmer. I just forgot it for a while. And I put my speak pipe on every one of my episodes. So right now it's called Healthy Vegan Living Podcast at blogspot.com. It's eventually going to be a com of my own. I just haven't figured out how to attach that yet, but that's coming. I'm still putting out 3 episodes a week, 2 primaries, like for example, where I call an episode Mondays and Fridays and a bonus on Wednesdays. I only have 1 follower, no one else. But I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for that 1 follower, like you mentioned, that we should do. I'm learning from you, your examples. Okay, don't give up. You're doing a wonderful job. I listen to you when I walk the dogs. I listen to you when I create on my channel. I listen to you all the time. And you're making a huge difference in my life.
So that was Gary, the healthiest vegan that I know. Gary, thank you. Next, we have Mark. Mark has the voice of the heavens. Okay? And if you ever want to go to New Brunswick, Mark will get in the car with you and drive you around and show you around New Brunswick, Canada. Okay? There you go. He's promised to do that. Take him up on his offer. He's got a great podcast, very local podcast. Smart. Very smart. And if I'm out going to New Brunswick, I'm calling Mark. He's a great guy. And just wait for this voice. You ready? Okay. You ready for some bass? I love this voice. Here we go. Here's Mark. Yeah, here we go.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Hello, Dave. It's Mark here with NB Traveler. It's a podcast that talks about New Brunswick stuff, particularly things with regard to traveling, events that might be occurring, famous visitors that may have come, and even some ghosts from time to time. I enrolled in a few of the email newsletters, only to find the same as what you found, and that is it's mostly links. And so consequently, I clicked them off, and most everything ends up in the trash bin. I'm happy that you're going to be doing this episode on April 30th because that's my birthday. 4 years ago, I quit saying I was almost middle-aged, and when I turned 75, I said now I'm beginning to be middle-aged. So I've been middle-aged for about 4 years. Thank you so much for all of the help that you've given me in starting the podcast. I'm on episode 21 now, and beginning to investigate some of the new suggestions that you've made, particularly with regard to having a second voice on the podcast. That's me. You have a great day. Thank you for all your help.
Again, it's all about the voice. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your thoughts. Great. Next, I have Eric, who also listens to the show. Eric does a podcast with his sister, which is cool. And they do it remotely because maybe that's how they get along. That's how I get along with my sister, is remotely. Eric left a message. How many times, Dave? 2 times, because I clarified my question to my point at the beginning of the show, and Eric came back with a second response, which you'll hear as well. But here's Eric's first response to my question. As unclarified as it was, Eric made a great attempt at answering. Here's his thoughts around email newsletters, and let's see what's different in his second response. Shall we? Eric?
Welcome. You've got mail.
Hey Dave, good morning. Eric Seemann with Real Siblings, It Ain't Easy podcast out of San Antonio, Texas and Tucson, Arizona. Following up to your how-to podcast series, I think it was episode 243, asking about email. I don't like it. I don't use it. I'm a real estate agent. And, sidebar, I tried to reply to your question on Spotify and it only allows 200 characters, so I decided to leave you a SpeakPipe message as well. As a real estate agent, in addition to being a podcast host, I get spammed and phished numerous times a day, numerous times a week, fraudulent emails. On average, I get about 100 to 120 emails a day to my business email account. Of those, about 10% are something I actually need to follow up on, and the other 90% are things that I delete, don't look at, casually will scan, but most of them end up in the trash. So for me, email doesn't work. There's a reason why it doesn't work. I don't send it out because I don't like receiving stuff that I didn't ask for. Now, results for someone who's opting in on a call to action, that may be different. They may be expecting to hear from you. So, my take. Hope that helps. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Eric. So before we hear Eric's second response, right, now I'm making you listen. Yeah, that's a trick. Yeah, now you're going to stay because you want to hear what he said the next time he called in, right? I could put it right here, but no, I'm going to make you wait. That makes you stay. So thank you for staying. JJ from the Ripple Retreat, he's got an amazing podcast. You got to go check out episode 5 and listen to his story about socks. It's going to blow your socks off when you hear episode 5. Everyone listening right now, I want you to go to episode 5 of What's Your Ripple with JJ, and then also go to see Ripple Retreat. This guy, he's amazing, and I'm so happy he's part of our community. JJ left his response, and here it is. JJ, thank you so much. Socks and all, here's JJ.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Hello, Dave. It's JJ from What's Your Ripple, a podcast capturing true tales and stories of how beautiful people like you and me are making extraordinary ripples in people's lives, changing their lives forever. I'm your host and founder and owner and operator of Ripple Retreat, a veteran-owned, non-alcohol turnkey event center that gives back to the community. Want to know more? Check out my website at ripple-retreat.com. And I'm also the creator of this podcast called What's Your Ripple? And Dave, you asked me a question about email subscriptions. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a moment. And if I read them, if I subscribe and I read them. And yes, I do subscribe to a few, and I only read a couple of them. And the main reason why I only read the ones that I do read is because they only come out like once a month. And it's interesting to see them come out and read the content. The ones that are hitting me every day, I read them for a moment, for a couple of times, and then, I get a notification from my email saying, hey, you haven't responded or read anything from this address in over 30 days. Would you like to delete it? And I end up deleting them. So the ones that hit me every day, no, I don't read those. But the ones that are once a month, I do. So I hope that answers your question. And enjoy polling the answers. I'm looking forward to the results. And I hope you're doing well, Dave. Thank you for everything you're doing for me and the ripple you make. Take care.
Thanks, JJ. Again, always great to hear your voice. Super encouraging guy. If you ever want to get a little bit of sunshine in your life, go check out JJ and his podcast. Get to know this guy. He's amazing. So, okay, I won't make you wait forever. Here's Eric's part 2, because I did clarify my question and he came back with this. So this will give you a little more context to Eric's response around email newsletters. Eric, you're back. Thanks for coming back. Here is Eric's second response.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Hey, Dave, it's Eric with Real Siblings. It ain't easy. I already sent you one reply on this, and I've thought about the question some more. I think you were more specific the second or third time I listened to it, going, if you signed up for email campaigns or communications, do you read them, such as newsletters? And as I thought about it, while I don't like getting spammed or phished, and I receive a lot of that, when it comes to newsletters, I do sign up for some very specifically. As a real estate agent, I need to stay on top of what's going on in and around my area of service. So I have numerous newsletters and updates coming from various sources of news, information, updates, conservative to liberal, just a broad spectrum of things. I don't always read them all, but I do scan for relevant information. Sometimes it gets reposted to various social media. Sometimes it's ignored. Sometimes it advises me of upcoming road closures, conditions, things along those lines. So, specific types of newsletter, email communication, which I have signed up for, I do read, I do review, and I do respond and possibly share.
Thank you, Eric, for part 2. This is great. I really appreciate you calling back, giving some more insight into it. And I'm glad you did that. That's really helpful. And to end things off, and if I missed anybody, my apologies, let me know, and I will definitely re-add it back in here. I think I got everybody. It's really hard. It's like herding cats, trying to get all these messages into one file. I hope I did a good job, and I hope you're appreciating it and you're liking this. We're going to have another question of the month that I'll talk about here at the end. So stick around, because I would love to have your voice on May's edition of Question of the Month. But yeah, so we have one more. Now listen, my oldest son, McMillan, is his name. Nice name, right? McMillan, he's 27-ish. He is a tradesperson, and he works on site for home building, and he's done all kinds of stuff. This kid is super cool what he can do. I can hammer a nail. I can do that. I can't, not well, but I can do it. But McMillan does a great job, and he's out on job sites. And when I found this came through, the podcast name is I Shower After Work Podcast. How's that for a name? Yeah. And it's all around, the trades and the men and women who work hard for us in all the different trades, plumbing, electrical, AV, construction, new home, all that stuff. And two guys, Jason and John, left me a message. And it's all around their podcast, and we're going to have them on the show in the future to talk about I Shower After Work. Super cool. But this is their response around email newsletters. And here we go.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Hey, Dave, this is John Smith with the I Shower After Work podcast. Me and my buddy's podcast, we just talk about everything trades. We were both in the construction trades, and we kind of just have a good time, and we're just in the baby steps of it. We got 23 episodes out, 24 coming this week, and I started using email marketing and SMS text message marketing because my wife owns her own social media marketing company, and she kind of set us up with everything that we do. You can find our website at isawpodcast.com, but it's not 100%. I'm making changes constantly to it, but at the same time, with the email marketing, talking about your episode 231, I use it primarily just to send people reminders. As of right now, it's not really a marketing or a newsletter, but it's just to let everybody know, like, our episodes are dropping, and a lot of people get the notifications on their phone, so it's an easy read, easy reminder, like, oh, hey, yeah, that I'm hoping, anyway, the few people that we have listening, that it's just like, hey, yeah, that's their episode dropped today, I got to listen to that one. But having that available to expand on in the future, I think is important to me and to my buddy. And the fact that, like you said in your episode, you don't own Facebook or Instagram that we're on, and it's nice to have that contact list. If things do go south or, one of those goes down, we can still reach our viewers. So that's mainly what we're using it for. I don't know if it's a huge push, but it is. I think it is important in its own right. I just wanted to comment and give my 2 cents. I look forward to your next episode. And just keep up the good work, bud. You're doing some good things. All of your episodes really helped me out in launching this podcast with my buddy, and the co-hosts that you have on and stuff like that is great. But again, thanks again, Dave, and have yourself a good day.
So again, everyone, thank you so much for being a part of this April episode of our Question of the Month. Thank you to everyone that responded, and I would encourage you to do the same. We have May's Question of the Month, and we're going to be asking the question. Are you ready? Drum roll, everyone. Okay. Do you read the show notes when you listen to a podcast? Okay. Do you read the show notes? So when you look at your phone or on the computer, however you're listening to your favorite show, do you read through all of the information in the show notes? Yes or no? Because I want to know how much time and effort you're putting into the writing piece of your podcast. Okay? Now, you're talking to you as a listener, not as a podcaster. Take your podcaster hat off for a second. As a listener to a podcast, do you read the show notes, the episode notes, what's in the episode on your device or on your screen? Are you reading those when you listen to a podcast? So head over to howtopodcast.ca, grab the SpeakPipe logo right there on the website, and leave your voice message, and you will be part of May's roundup of responses around, do you read the show notes, episode notes within a podcast when you're listening to someone else's podcast? I want to know how much work we want to put into ours for our benefit, for our audience, and let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, because the biggest thing I want to do in podcasting is take away some of the overwhelm where we feel like we have to do 1,000 things on top of recording an episode of our podcast, where other people might think, you know what, it's too much work, I give up. And the sad thing in that is, if you feel overwhelmed as a podcaster, I want to help you and give you the permission, as much as I can from here on this side of the mic, to let go of all these external extras in podcasting so that you can keep podcasting, because your voice matters. We need you in this space. We need to hear your voice. Your story, if you've listened to this podcast more than once, you will hear me say that no one else can do your show. And if you stop doing your show, it's going to be a shame, because no one else can do your show. No one else can reach the people that you can reach. You have a gift. You have a story. And the world needs to hear it. And I really want to encourage you to keep going forward with your podcast. Even if you've taken a break, even if you put it on pause, even if you're like, oh yeah, the podcast, I forgot about that. Your listeners care about you. Your listeners will show up. And even though you're not seeing the response you wanted to see at the beginning, don't give up. Don't stop. Do what you can with the time you have. Do it as often as you can. The people that love you, the people who listen to your show, they're there for you. And if we can take away anything that saves you time so you'll keep podcasting, great. And if you love writing, your show notes, your episode notes, whatever's in your player, that's probably one of your sources of pride and joy. So share your thoughts. How detailed are you in the app? Okay? This is not talking about your website and a blog post. That's a different conversation. I just mean in the player, when you press play on a podcast, are you reading the show notes? Are you clicking the links? All of the stuff you see in there. How important is that to you? Leave your message, howtopodcast.ca, click the speak pipe. Again, just like you heard everybody today, tell us about your show, tell us the name of your podcast, answer the question, do you read the episode show notes on your player when you listen to a podcast? Love to hear your thoughts. We'll summarize all these, and we'll do this at the end of May. We'll release a special episode with your amazing podcaster voice right here on the show. So please do that. Reach out so that we can include you in the next episode wrap up in the end of May, all around show notes and episode notes. Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for listening. And to everyone who responded to April, you are amazing. And I am so grateful for every time I see a message pop up in my inbox with your amazing voice attached. Thank you so much, everyone. Talk to you soon. Thanks for being here. And go check out the episode notes for this episode. I'd love to get your thoughts. Take care, everyone. Cheers.